G'day everyone, it's SDS SuperCoach providing SuperCoach content for you. Here to present just some updates on because I haven't done a video for a couple of days, and now that we've gotten the announcements of the round zero postponement games between Brisbane and Geelong. There should be a game on tonight, but there isn't. And also the Gold Coast Essendon game that has been postponed as well. So we only get two opening round games. And I'm just going to be talking about the ramifications on a few of these players, whilst also live reacting to the Sydney Hawthorn team sheets. Thank you for the support in the last video as well, by the way. First video that's gotten 3K views, and also a video that's had the most ever amount of likes on 59. So I do appreciate the Round Zero team reveal being so well received. So I do really much appreciate that. Yeah, so let's be talking about what the ramifications are. The teams will be released in a few minutes. So obviously, so there's more to talk about with Gold Coast and Essendon. So I'll start with Brisbane Geelong. So the overall change has been that the game won't go on tonight due to Cyclone Alfred. So wishing everyone the best up in Queensland with that. But yeah, it does mean that Brisbane and Geelong will be moved to round three. 7:35 Saturday night, round three. I believe that's like March 29th. So this obviously does mean that Brisbane and Geelong move to the rest of the 14 other clubs. Sorry, no, the 10 other clubs that have a round zero bye that don't play an opening round. So that is included. So Brisbane and Geelong aren't involved in this packed round three bye with Sydney and Collingwood. So obviously players like Max Holmes, Dane Zorko, Lockie Neal, premiums that Tom Stewart, Dunkley, all these type of premium players from these clubs have obviously now got a bonus of not having that opening round, because I was very much against starting any premium or player 600k and above with that round three bye. So yeah, so that is a good sign for them. I don't think it actually changes much personally for my team, but I know a lot of people now have jumped on Zorko, jumped on Lockie Neal, Max Holmes. Out of all of them, for me, probably Max Holmes is the one that interests me the most out of that, but I still don't think I'm actually going to end up starting him. I don't know about you guys, but usually for me, I want to start players that have been hot on the entire preseason. I just haven't with Holmes. I know we had this good discussion with Shorty and he brought up some good points, but I'll happily be proven wrong and see what's going on there. There's still a bit too much movement for my liking personally, but that's obviously a good positive. I'll talk about I'll talk about a couple more things before we head into team sheets. I mean, I believe they released at 6:20 again this year. So yeah, look, and then in terms of rookies, it doesn't look like Connor O'Sullivan's going to be playing from what it seems early days. Did struggle in that practice game against the Bombers. So yeah, I don't think he's going to be a good rookie. Brisbane rookies, Levi Ashcroft, I think, is a guy that we 100% start. I mean, we would have started him regardless of what bye Brisbane had. But yeah, he's definitely a guy. Is there any other relevancy? Bailey Smith, I mean, this brings more appeal to Bailey Smith. And I guess the now Sydney and Collingwood are the only two teams with that round three bye. So that certainly helps us out in the back line, because I know there was a whole log jam with like Holmes, Stewart, O'Sullivan, um, Kitty Coleman, even though he wasn't relevant, along with the mixture of Perryman, Roberts, Patton, that type, where Sam DeConning as well, that he gets a bonus as well. But I felt like with the DeConning pick, Sam DeConning pick, we needed to see round zero how that was actually going to look. Not sure if I can go there at this stage. Team should be out. Yep. Let's live react to these teams. So, as you guys know, I am a Hawthorn supporter, so I'm very curious to see how the team looks. I believe they should be out. All right, here we go. Let's react to this. Jake Lloyd, 250 games. Ben Patton and Tom Hanley, making their club debuts. Same with Tom Barrass and Josh Bell. Tom Hanley officially making his AFL debut. Milliken picked. Matty Roberts, yep, nice to see. Ben Patton named on field. I wonder if he's replacing Harry Cunningham. Interested to see in that. Braden Campbell, Marty. Anything I'm missing? Sheldrick named. He's very relevant. So that's interesting. Interesting. Angus Sheldrick. He's obviously a 161k rookie in our midfield. Corey Warner's been named. He's been doing some good things in pre-season. The brother of Chad, of course. Let's have a look at my boys. Okay. Yeah, Sam Mitchell does some weird stuff with these teams usually. So ignore Hardwick fullback and all that. Weddle, Ballon Barras, yep. Sicily on a wing, ignore that. Connor Nash, Harry Morrison, centre forward. Oh, yeah, Will Day, forward pocket. Meek, Warple, Moore, McGuinness, Frost named, yep. I saw that earlier actually. So no McCabe or Ramsden, and no Jack Gunston. Okay, so what does this mean? This means very likely that Sicily will play forward for most of the game. And or it could mean that this could also mean Battle could play a bit of time forward too, because Battle in the past has played forward for the Saints and all that. So there could be a rotation of Sicily and Battle swapping in the forward line. I expect Blake Hardwick to play forward. Yeah, so I think because I explained it in the Supercoach guide. And I was just saying like Blake Hardwick's a small forward that plays like a tall forward, if that makes any sense. He leads up like a traditional forward. So I think Chol, Hardwick, and Sicily slash Battle will be our forward line. And then you've got Barras, Frost will stay there. You've got Scrimshaw in there, and then one of the other of Battle and Sicily, I think will be playing in defence there. Yeah, this seems like a perfectly fine team to me. So very interesting. So I would ignore where these players are being named. It's just Mitchell's done this over the past few years, so I'd just be ignoring Will Day forward pocket. I know some people will be probably up in arms about that, but he will spend a bit of time forward as well, but he'll mainly be midfield. I guess, okay, so there you go. That's the team. In terms of my watch list for this game, Ben Patton for mine. If he can go 60 plus, we probably pick him in Supercoach. Matty Roberts to see how that really works down back. Sydney have obviously gone pretty small in the back line because we're pretty small up forward. Any other watch lists? I think Hanley or Warner will be sub. Sub for the Hawks. My guess would be McGuinness or McKenzie, I feel. Yeah, one of those two. Yep. Um, Warner, tough. I think he's 148k forward. And then any watch list stuff for the Hawks. Will Day, this is a perfect watch list game for him because I think he'll get a bit of attention from row bottom in the midfield. We'll see how that forward line stuff sort of works. I currently don't have him in my team, um, because I just think my current midfield there's just better options. But I do love Will Day, and I wish I could pick him, but I just feel like there's better options out there now. But this is a good watch list game. If he goes 120, then that's plenty to think about. I think this also rules out James Sicily as a pick fully. So early days for sure. Maybe when we get Deer and Lewis back, I think we could pick him up really cheap in during the buy rounds as an upgrade target. Maybe as a forward option, you know. He might be a forward. He probably will become forward eligible now. So that's extremely interesting. So he's a massive watch list guy for later in the season, but probably not now to start the team. I've done enough rambling on that, I feel. So, yeah, so cool. Now let's talk about this Gold Coast Essendon postponement. So now it does seem so. What's been confirmed is it has been moved to round 24, and it'll be played likely during the finals bye period. So from what I would guess and suggest is that AFL Fantasy are just not counting that game. And I think a very similar thing could be happening here in Supercoach. So I personally believe that Gold Coast and Essendon won't count towards Supercoach. So I don't think there's going to be a double game week or team with the highest score, that type of thing. I think Supercoach are just going to ignore that. So what does that mean for Gold Coast and Essendon players? Well, for rookies from Gold Coast and Essendon, not many rookies from Gold Coast, but for Essendon, like Pryor, Reed, Sardis, Kako, this doesn't really mean much for rookies. So pick them as you normally would. For premiums, though, this means you can't convince me in any way possible to start in our starting team, Essendon or Gold Coast premiums. There's, I just don't think you could convince me because in a Supercoach season, at the very start, Gold Coast and Essendon play one less game than everyone else. So they've got two buys throughout the season and one less game. So you get what I mean? So we don't get the benefits of Gold Coast and Essendon having break evens and price changes early in the season. So Gold Coast now, because of that round two bye, they play one game, then a bye, and then we don't get a price change till about round four for them, heading into round four for them. So, which is obviously later than usual. And then Essendon, they get round one and two and three. So it's very awkward to trade into any Essendon players before their bye, before their round four bye. So for me, this means, I mean, Flanders was already a no-go in my book. Um, let's filter this. Uh, Essendon Gold Coast. This means I don't think you can start Flanders. I don't think you can start Martin. They're upgrade targets. I don't think you can start Zach Merritt or Noah Anderson. I think they're upgrade targets again. In the ruck line, I mean, are you really starting wits? In the forward line, there's not much relevance here, I feel. Draper, I don't think you can start. So yeah, Essendon Gold Coast players now just turn into upgrade targets. We can ignore Reed. El Hawley's not going to play, by the way. You can take him out. Reed, Pryor, Kako, Sardis, we can still pick. That's fine because they're cash generators. So, but yeah, I don't think we can start any of these guys. So, yeah, if you guys want any clarification on what's going to happen, in my opinion, Supercoach are going to come out and say this Gold Coast Essendon game doesn't count towards Supercoach, and now Essendon and Gold Coast get two buys. Well, technically three buys, but yeah, two buys in Supercoach season. So yeah, I think these guys are upgrade targets. In terms of when exactly, probably after their buy specifically, I think is fine to bring them in at that point because after Gold Coast round two bye, they play the exact same games as everyone else. And then Essendon, after their round four bye, they play the exact amount of games as everyone else. You don't want to lose out on premium scoring like in this sort of way. So yeah, I don't think we can be picking them. Is there anything much else to talk about? I guess Giants Pies watch list. I'll do to wrap things up here. So GWS and Collingwood, they'll be on Sunday. So only two games this weekend. Really weird that we're not going to have a Saturday game. My side plays tomorrow. I don't feel the height. This just feels like another practice game. But I guess Friday night under the lights will change things. But yeah, Dacos, I guess we'll see how he goes with a potential Bedford tag. James Leake, we'll see if he's not named sub. That would be cool if he can play a full game. Perryman, I think we expect this midfield role. Connor Stone, see how he goes back in defence. And you got Whitfield, who I expect to have that half-back role. Houston won't be playing because he is still suspended. Cody Angove, could he play round zero? We'll see how that goes. Finn Callahan, I think, is ready to absolutely explode, by the way. But hard to pick him with playing round 0 and 1 and then having the round 2 bye. If we want him that desperately, we'll trade him in when prices change. So yeah, look, that'll do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah, I was gonna do a bulk video today. Oh, sorry. Oh yeah, you guys have already seen this team. Oh yeah, by the way, Elijah Hewitt is touch and go for round 1, so probably going to remove him. In terms of replacement, I mean, Hasty. If you want to go Langford or Finn O'Sullivan, if you've got the money to go up, that's fine. Yeah, that's we'll talk about that more because I'm hearing conflicting reports about unlikely to be available to 50-50 if everything goes well, that sort of thing. So, look, we'll leave it there, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate all the support. I promise I will eventually respond to all the comments, but yeah, I eventually will on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Cheers.